looks like we are underway. Most important bit, get your wood sword. Don't want to forget that. And it looks like we will have a bit of divergence right off the bat. Looks like level 4 is going to be at the Vanilla 3 screen, and Bobino is going to check Vanilla 1 to see what is waiting there. So we have level 3 and level 4 as the two dungeons that you can access closest to the start screen. Looks like we see the free Triforce in level 4. We'll see if he opts to pick that up if he gets blocked off by keys or other enemies. And meanwhile, we have the Dongos trolling about in the industry room. It's probably one of the more difficult rooms to get them to cooperate with the double setup with the bomb. And he's actually gonna get both the Dongo with the same bomb. That's absolutely best case scenario. Meanwhile, we have Heart Container as the first item found. It is on Kingdahl's side, and it was the floor drop just above the Triforce. So he's got one Triforce and one item, and he is going to go ahead and bail for now. Probably not a bad decision. You've already gotten some of the impact out of that dungeon, and he may have been blocked off by some of the other key doors or otherwise. Speaking of key doors, AlmightyBobino has 2 key doors in his way and no keys with which to check. Looks like we found the arrow shop on Kingdahl's side. This check is actually pretty useful because you can eliminate some of the routing you need to do later if you have the knowledge in advance. So he's going to try and check all of these Armos for the shop items here, but with the Gria on that screen, they can actually cause the Armos to glitch out and not move. Luckily, he is able to look at that shop, and it's not really that relevant. It's just the cheap meat. It looks like, based on Bobino's coverage and Kingdahl's coverage, the likely Armos destination for this seed will be the grave. It's fairly likely to show up there. It should show up there more than 50% of the time. And Kingdahl is now in level 3 himself. We'll see if he finds a way around the key blocks that Bobino faced. Looks like Vanilla 2's location is going to be level 5. Not what he was looking for specifically. I think level 1 was high on the priority list and or a vanilla level 2. However, now that he's here, he's going to at least check some rooms to make sure that there isn't something really easy to get to. And bomb pack on the floor, so even if he does not clear this room thanks to the fireballs, he is going to get that free pack of bombs. And he's going to go ahead and burn one bomb and try and get back to the room pack. Yes, got to the bomb pack in the center of the room. Kingdahl is going to try for Kananiki, and Bobino does find the Triforce sitting freely on the ground 5. And Kingdahl successfully utilizes the Kananiki. For those that don't know that trick, if you're in a room with a shutter door and a key door and have 0 keys, if you kill the last enemy when the shutter door goes to open, it temporarily unlocks every door in the game memory, allowing you to walk through the key door. And if you walk back through after going through the key door, it stays open, period, because it knows that you've walked through that door, meaning the key door shouldn't be in play. Unfortunately, the Kananiki only gives him a room full of blue Wizrobes, to which he says, "No thanks, I'll come back when I have combat if I need to." Speaking of no thanks, Bobino no thanks out of level 5, and he's going to check the candle shop. I believe we've seen the arrows in the arrow shop and the bomb pack, but we have not seen the blue candle. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat. If that is the case, then Death Mountain bomb spots will be the necessary place to go for your blue candle if you don't find a free red candle somewhere else. And at the current moment, we have both runners kind of going around and cleaning up the same exact cave setup. We'll see if Kingdahl opts to kind of pick up some medium and large secrets in an effort to kind of get early money so that he can pick up the blue candle and or wood arrows and or blue ring or keys even, given how key starved we've been initially. What's important to note is that he is at 6 heart containers, so he will be able to make his way to the white sword and be guaranteed to pick it up. And this is not a very fun screen to navigate with all of these guys jumping around, but he gets through it and he will get to heart container number 7. Speaking of hearts, Bobino finds that heart container in level 4 that Kingdahl found earlier. Kingdahl is looking for that candle shop, but I do believe he's going to have to walk across a bit of Death Mountain to go for that, or perhaps the Forgotten Spot. And we do have our bait block in level 4, but it's really too difficult for me to say whether or not that's actually going to be relevant. $66 rupees and 250 for the blue ring in the same shop. So it's going to be quite the expensive climb to get the blue ring should either runner want that for combat purposes, given that there are Wizrobes in dungeons. Bobino's also going to head up through the grave. He might find his way to the Armos screen and whatever is in Vanilla 6. Let's see what the Armos is. It is a wand. So we have a little bit of offense. The offensive advantage will not last that long, though. It looks like Bobino's probably only going to be about 40 to 45 seconds behind picking it up. I think they'll both end up in Vanilla 6's dungeon, as long as it's not 9. And it is definitely not level 9, it is level 1, so as long as they're not key blocked, you can bet that they're both going to try and stay in here for as long as possible. And it looks like we have another potential Kananaki situation for Kingdahl. You may not need it though, given that there are plenty of ways to navigate through level 1 if it's a reasonably blocky dungeon. You can go ahead and bomb around some of these key doors. It's a 14 room level 1, so it's on the smaller side. If you see a smaller level 2 and level 3 to go with that, it's going to mean bad things for level 6 once they get to that point. Looks like we have a bow in level 1 that is fairly standard, although perhaps not in the staircase as it would normally be. I do tend to think that both runners will find their way to said bow without much issue, though, because it is level 1, you're not likely to leave an item behind, so this is not going to be super impactful to the runners in terms of their positioning against one another. And it looks like the magic boomerang is the second floor item in level 1. We have both runners looking at it, but it looks like neither one will pick it up. Given that they have the wand, it's not that crazy a concept. This Patra looks like Kingdahl is going to consider taking it out, hoping for maybe a key drop. And it does have a key, so that will put him +1 onto Bobino, +2, given that AlmightyBobino has burned a key at some point in this dungeon. And nope, we have both boomerangs in level 1, and I think they are likely to both get noped. We'll see if Kingdahl wants to be the troll. No. Nope, we're just going to nope all the bananas. I'm not quite certain what Kingdahl is actually looking for at this point in level 1. We're looking at a situation where he has bow, he walked away from the blue boomerang, and Lord Banana. So, probably not going to be super impactful, but kind of interesting decision nevertheless. Vino's gonna route in level 9's location and see what's up there. And perhaps Kingdahl forgot that he saw the magic boomerang on the floor or the bow, but once he looks at his inventory and sees the bow there, he's gonna realize, hey, I've got all my items, I'm out. Potentially. Maybe. House 2 is up on Death Mountain. Looks like we have a segmented level 2. In case that wasn't obvious by the staircase. Normally, level 2 has 0 staircases and 2 floor items. The staircase apparently led to nowhere. Important to note that it did give access, I do believe, to the bottom row of the dungeon. That is important because every dungeon has to touch the bottom row. It doesn't matter where the entry point is. We have recently added the shapes being enterable from top, left, right, or bottom of the map, but it still requires you to have a connection to the bottom row. This is pretty useful information for runners looking for a bomb wall that's a bit trolly. If you haven't found your way to that bottom row, you know to bomb down in some of the lower rooms to make sure you get that connection, and that can sometimes solve a rather trolly situation. Big floor item, though, in level 2. That's the red ring. So now we have a little bit of offense and a good bit of defense on AlmightyBobino's side. We'll see if he can take advantage of the minute or so lead that he has to that item. I don't think it's quite enough to really make a huge impact, but you never know. And it looks like we have Heart Container as the second item in level 2. That's both items for Bobino, and that's 2 key doors that he didn't want to see. Which way does he go? He's going to opt to go right. Is that the correct answer? Maybe. Well, we won't know on his side just yet. And, well, is he gonna leave? Is he gonna stay? Looks like he's looking at that bomb hole and says, this is suspicious. When did this get here? And Rupee boss guards the Triforce, so it's a good thing he saw that bomb wall open up in the entryway. It's going to allow him to get out of this dungeon and head on to the next one with both items and Triforce taken care of. Looks like Kingdahl has both items as well now on level 2. Question in chat is, how did he know that there was a bomb wall there? Well, he found that bomb wall mostly by chance. Based on the way he walked through the dungeon, it opened up that bomb wall for him. And he realized that he had not been up there before just because he was tracking or marking his dungeon as he went, or just realized that he didn't remember going through there. And he's going to pick up his candle now. Really quick 4 Triforces, but we are still missing a lot of important items that are going to block you out of 2 dungeons, so we'll see if we can dig some of those items out just as quickly as we're finding Triforce pieces. Kingdahl, meanwhile, finds the map, so he is not going to get trolled by that bomb hole if he does not have it open already. There's a couple ways to get a bomb wall to open up in the entryway. It has some, it has a little bit to do with how doors mechanically open throughout the dungeons when you leave a specific room. It can sometimes confuse the game when you up an A. Additionally, if you pirouette from the overworld, it depends on the entry point. Let's see which way Bobino enters whatever dungeon this is. Yeah, we'll have to hold that thought as he is going to check the coast item. And to go with his bow, he now has wood arrows as well, so he will not be getting Goma blocked anymore. And looks like another heart container, so 2 hearts on the overworld to go with the wand. We have a Triforce kit out of level 2 for Kingdahl, so we are 4 Triforce pieces to 3. So if you see, Bobino has entered Palace 6 from the right side. If he walks up here and comes back down, the game will think that he entered the dungeon from the top side door, because it kind of looks at the dungeon the same way it looks at the overworld. So it'll think he's walked through from the top and will open up the bomb wall if it exists there. That trick will also work with a shutter door. It'll not even appear in the dungeon when you walk in if you walk in from the side that was shutter doored. And key doors as well will disappear with this trick. So if you were to play the Zelda no up and A route, for example, level 1 has that key door directly to the north when you enter. If you leave the dungeon and come back in, this door across from the entry point will disappear. Bobino is collecting a whole bunch of hearts in hopes potentially of getting to a magical sword check, while Kingdahl is going to check into level 6 and see if he can't dig some items. Yeah, the pirouette works one of 2 ways. Either the way you navigate on the overworld and what side of the overworld screen you come into the dungeon location on, and or you can pirouette the door across always by exit and re-entry. And then the mechanics in the dungeon are a little bit more complicated. That's the long explanation. And there's a picket fence on the ground in the staircase in level 8, so we have the raft get for AlmightyBobino. He is a recorder away from potentially getting all the dungeon Triforces and being able to go to 9, but still needs his silvers and potentially the ladder after that, so 2 or 3 items away from getting into his go mode, most likely. And another easy Triforce piece, so now he is up to 5 Triforce pieces. And looks like Bobino's going to have to tango the old-fashioned way with this and handle it. Eventually gets him to cooperate and gets him to walk into the wand. Not super surprising to see him go back into level 8 because he has 1 floor and 1 staircase item left to pick up out of here. Of greater concern, though, is that his Triforce Rush has led him into a situation where he's at 0 keys. So maybe one of those situations where we see a runner invest in keys at the shop. Looks like level 6's staircase item is a heart container. Not what Kingdahl was looking for necessarily, but he's actually 1 away from a 20% chance at the magical sword, so working his way there over time. And Zelda's definitely not going to be in her room in this seed, as we've seen that room now at level 6. And in the early going here, it does look like the ladder is going to stymie a lot of progression in dungeons, as we've seen several blocks in several different dungeons to this point. Level 7 is on the raft spot, so Vanilla 4 has been replaced with 7. For those just joining us, this is game 2 of a potential best of 3. Bobino needs to win this to face the creator of the Zelda 2 randomizer, Digshake. He needs to win. Bobino needs to win 2 to Kingdahl's 1, so if Kingdahl wins tonight, it's over. And this maze room is a bit of a troublesome room to face these Wizrobes in, so it looks like he may opt out of that room temporarily. No, he's just going to reset the room, get rid of some of the Wizrobes. That's a good play. It's a bomb drop for his troubles to boot. lots of wall masters and dungeons, but for every room he's cleared with wall masters, Kingdahl has picked up a key, so he's maintained his key count at the inventory of 4 at this point. Meanwhile, Bobino's just looking for any drop in any room. He's not getting much of anything to go his way. And unfortunately, because he left the room and the Zol split, there is going to be a Wizrobe here, and that may put him... Yep, it's going to put him back to start.
Mic on, mic off.
Kingdahl now also knows what's on the coast spot. Kingdahl is going to go into level 5, which I believe had some key blocks and a fairly easy Triforce. And this is a potential staircase room for Kingdahl, and definitely a staircase room that Bobino is in. That is a rather large level 7. Could be bigger though, I suppose. Quick glance, counting up the rooms. 29. Since we have an 8x8 grid, I believe that that's going to probably put level 8 in the ballpark of 31 to 33 rooms, as there'll be a few blanks. Not quite sure what the blue Wizrobe HP is, but I think the red Wizrobes are up 1 at minimum. But we have another heart container, so both runners at 9 hearts at this point. I do believe they both have the raft heart left to go as well, so at minimum they can get up to 10. And there's the risk that Kingdahl had by going after that fairy, is it did kind of cause the blue Wizrobe to lose his track on the blocks. However, this room was worth the clear for sure, as he's got his combat upgrade now, white sword and wand as opposed to wooden wand. It does look like we're running out of rooms really to navigate through in this level 7 between ladder block and transport. Looks like Bobino's gonna hope that this key door leads to either the Triforce, a ladder, another key, and well, he got something out of it. But he is ladder blocked as 7, I think, and that confirms that the ladder will not be there. I think I would prefer to buy a second key and go towards level 3 at this point. I believe he is blocked out of his items there. It's really a tough call, though, when you've got a whole bunch of Triforces already. You don't like double dipping, but you kind of have to once you start running out of options. And he is going to pick up the more expensive of the 2 keys since he knows it's right there. We'll see what he opts to do. Will he go to level 4 or level 3? Looks like he's going to go up to level 3. Kingdahl, meanwhile, has taken the Triforce out of 5 from his count, and he is now, again, just that 1 behind. And heart container number 10 for Bobino. He's on the low range of magical sword at this point. Don't think he'll go straight there. I think he's definitely looking to head back to level 3. The only different decision I would have made in his shoes would be to up 8 and save after getting the key out of the key shop there. If he uses the 2 keys here, he can't refund them by retrying. He's going to have to just live with his decision. I would certainly go left in this room first. Well, maybe it'll work out for him. But there are whiz rooms up here, so he's going to have to clean this room up to see if there's an item. Unfortunately, a bit of a predictable outcome there. The blue wizrobes have taken care of AlmightyBobino. He's going to have to try again. Oh no. Team Sweden going back 2 rooms to start. Do not pass go. No $200. We do know that the power bracelet was in level 5, though, so Kingdahl will not have to go back there at any point to search for any items that he may be missing. And key blocked in level 3 was the recorder, so that is progression. I believe at this point that is progression to level 9? Has to be 9, I think. I don't know that we've seen a floor drop out of this level 3 either. But it won't be in this room. There will be no drop at all here. And that is definitely a Triforce room. Be happy that it was standing item and not a drop item Triforce. The major concern for Bobino right now is he does not have the white sword, and there are a lot of wizrobes. We have found the red candle in a staircase in level 8, so that is both of our staircase items for certain out of level 8 that we now know. Kingdahl will have to find the other staircase to get his raft to progress to level 7, but I think still looking for potentially a floor item in level 8, and it could be the ladder. We are still missing that item, and it is absolutely required to get through level 7. Looks like we have a rather linear level 3 and segmented. Bobino will happily take that key, and Kingdahl still searching for floor drop and or the raft. He's probably going to fight this two-headed Gliok, because why not? He's got red ring. We fight everything with red ring. That is not just a Kingdahl action, mind you. I do the same thing. I love fighting rooms when I can. And I heard a ding on Bobino's side, and I see 11 heart containers in his possession. So I am inclined to think that the second item that he found in level 3 was a heart container. Looks like we do have silver arrows on the floor on level 8, so Bobino's gonna have to make a trek back there at some point. However, there is potential for Kingdahl to get baited by the Triforce to pick it up and leave this dungeon at some point. And no, he's going to keep digging. That's actually a good decision. The other item in this level 8 is quite important. And the nasty thing about bubble rooms with wall masters is you can get bopped and lose your iframes fast enough to eventually get grabbed, and we are now 1-1 in terms of getting wall master between the two runners. Next wall master win. It feels like we may be ladder blocked out of some rooms in level 4. I don't know that there's a workaround. Doesn't look like he's interested in checking for the bomb wall there. I don't quite blame him. He's out of bombs for the most part. Probably wants to build a 10 count with his last one if possible. Bobino is left level 4 at this point. Kingdahl left level 8 as well, and I don't think he picked up the Triforce before leaving it. like Bobino is going to go back to the dungeon in the vanilla 8 spot, which is level 6. And as we hear the recorder theme on Bobino's side, we see Kingdahl picking up his recorder, so both runners have it now. It seems kind of likely, in fact, at this point, that level 6 has a high chance to house the ladder. So I don't know that we have necessarily seen the floor drop, or even the staircase drop in level 6 for that matter. We may have seen one, but we didn't see both for certain. I don't know how much Kingdahl actually looked around in there. And speaking of who wins the Wallmaster race, it is Bobino getting the second one. Will he maintain his Wallmaster lead? I don't know. We've seen Kingdahl already get it once. He may get it again. But he's also going to get his Triforce piece out of level 3. So he's got 1 through 5, just the larger dungeons left to grab the Triforces from. He's going to dive back in. I don't think we've seen the floor drop in level 3. Or at least he has not. I think AlmightyBobino may have grabbed a heart container out of there. And AlmightyBobino is 1 Triforce piece away from going to level 9. The problem, he does not have silvers, and he does not have the ladder to progress in level 7 to actually get there. I believe the segment in level 3 houses the heart container a few rooms down the path to get the map out of this diamond staircase room. A offer you cannot refuse, says the old man, as he offers 5 bombs for 75 rupees, the minimum. I am not surprised in the slightest bit that AlmightyBobino has taken that offer. Kingdahl goes into the last room there to look for a last key before leaving level 3 with his heart container and his recorder. Bobino has found progress through a bomb wall in that room that he looked to be blocked and dead-ended in, so See if that pays off for him. Kingdahl has now found the staircase with the raft, so that is his last item out of level 8. Just gotta pick up his Triforce and get out. This level 6 has not been kind to Bobino. He's been looking around for some time for an item that he can utilize, such as the ladder, to progress in the seed. He would even be looking for silver arrows if you could get them out of here. Unfortunately, they won't be here, but he does not know that yet. Kingdahl, meanwhile, is going to what I presumed was a ladder block 7. We'll find out if that is the case for certain. Kingdahl finds the bad news that the blue Wizrobe is the dominant enemy in this room. Looks like it was 5 white sword hits, so 9 or 10 HP is the answer on the blue Wizrobes. And we have a key drop and a diamond staircase. That is a heart container. So that's one of the 2 items at a level 6. What's the second one? Wonder what rooms we have left that we can access on Bobino's side. We're kind of cut off from the southwest of the 6 due to Zelda's room being in that little area. I believe Kingdahl has now explored every item that or every room that he can explore in the bottom half of 7. He only has the 2 rooms off to the left that he can get to via this transport. And then he is officially going to have to locate the ladder elsewhere. I think Bobino is running short on rooms. Maybe one more room. It's not going to be this one that drops one. It only drops this if you add extra staircases as part of the flag set. So what is to the south of this room? It's a bunch of ropes and they guard what? Nothing. What does he have left? Not sure what rooms Bobino has left to check. We'll have to see once he pulls up his menu, or maybe he knows more than we do as to what rooms he has and has not been in. Alright, we're in the northern part of this dungeon now. You can go east here, presumably through a bomb wall. That's the only way in there. This room is only a drop room at level 1, so this won't be it. Kingdahl is in a drop room at level 4, I believe. Right, one more room to check in this segment, and then maybe it's a Wizard room left to check? Or is this a Darkness set? I'm not sure if they're in the same dungeon this time. I want to say no. Wow, what a convoluted path to the ladder, but we have it. It was in 6. So now comes the big question. Will Kingdahl find the ladder first, or will AlmightyBobino go back to level 8 and find the silvers first? My guesstimate at this point is because Kingdahl does not have his Triforce piece out of 6, he will still dig that to completion. It comes down to whether or not Bobino gambles on the 2 items in level 9 housing the silver arrows, or if he wants to make sure the floor drop in level 8 is not said silvers. Just for a bit of cleanup here, the items that cannot be in level 9 are the bow, the ladder, the power bracelet, the recorder, and the raft. This race is by no means over yet. Both runners are missing a key component here. The bigger issue is probably whether or not we see gambling on Bobino's side. So in my opinion, that's really the only place this can go terribly wrong for him. Kingdahl is back into level 6 because he really doesn't have any other choice. He has every other item that I can think of. So it's just a question of where is the ladder. I think it's going to be near impossible for him to find his way to the ladder without the help of map. We're going to see some interesting combat here on Bobino's side. Will he be able to take out four-headed Gleeok before he gets hit by one of the roaming heads? Or a fireball? The answer is not this time, but I think once he comes back with 3 hearts and red ring, he should be just fine. Certainly, he's going to be able to get through with 6.5 hearts. He's experienced enough as a runner where this will not trip him up anymore. Looking at this race from a commentator's perspective, I would say it's probably, at this point, Kingdahl's race to lose. And the reason why I will say that is because Bobino has to go back to find, I believe, the power bracelet out of 5 and the white sword out of 5. And he would do that before going to level 8 to find the last remaining lore drop, whereas Kingdahl is stuck out of level 7 entirely. By being stuck, he is in a bit of a bind where he has to go through level 6 and has to find his potential ladder here because it can't be anywhere else. And Kingdahl is trying to break apart his stepladder before he can walk on it. That's a dangerous game, sir. But I understand he is quite frustrated that he had to dig every dungeon before finding out that level 6 had to have it on the floor. And there is the Triforce piece out of level 6 for Kingdahl. He is now going to have to go to level 7 and locate the Triforce piece at the very top of the dungeon, so it will take him a little while to get there, but I don't know if it'll be enough time for Bobino to catch up. Alright, we have both runners digging the same dungeon at this point. And the difference between the clear speed in this will be fairly obvious, as Bobino has to check every room, looking for the potential silver arrow drop on his way. Whereas Kingdahl will just want to find the compass, and then he will go straight there, as he has nothing left to find outside of, I suppose, the any key, but at 11 keys, is that really even necessary? I would think even the most troll of level 9s is probably unlikely to result in Kingdahl going to 0 keys. There is the compass for Kingdahl, so he's going to pretty much try and go straight up via bomb walls. The answer is no, unfortunately. We also have that any key that I was talking about just a moment ago, and Bobino has it. He was in not quite the same territory count-wise as Kingdahl was in keys, so it's not necessarily a bad thing for him to find, but it's not, again, silvers, which is what he is most likely most interested in. So Kingdahl at 8 Triforce pieces at a hour and 9 minutes is going to make his way to Recorder Lake, which is where level 9 is at this time. Will Bobino make the gamble to go to level 9, or will he go somewhere else? This dungeon is level 3, so he's fluting to the left twice, it looks like. He got rocked, so never mind that flute attempt. I think he's trying to go towards Magical Sword, though. To kind of follow up with the chat, the most amount of keys I've seen a runner carry at one time, I believe, was 21. I'm hearing a lot of roaring going on over on Kingdahl's side. I'm pretty sure it was the Aquamentus followed by Ganon's roar. Ganon's to the left in this room. So, will we get trolled trying to get to the Ganon's room location, or will we be able to bomb eventually? Meanwhile, 12 hearts was enough for Magical Sword. Unfortunately, Bobino is going to make the play to level 9, which is not correct. And unfortunately for Kingdahl, no bomb wall exists. He's going to rebomb the same wall because he is confused as to how in the world he could be blocked out from everyone. So maybe just a left entry, or did he bomb up in the room below? Alrighty. We gonna have one of these seeds, or are we gonna be able to bomb somewhere today? Looks like one of these seeds. And Kingdahl is already down to 4 bombs, thanks in large part to level 9 being level 9. He's gonna probably have to clear this room not only for the shutter doors, but for a potential bomb drop. Unfortunately, there is no bomb drop to be had yet. And for reference again, Ganon is in column 7. I believe it is row number 3, and you cannot bomb in from the south, from the east, or from the north. You have to get in from the west. And currently we're struggling to find our way towards a path that works. I do see a path on Kingdahl's screen that goes west at some point from your start. Based on the screen-for-screen action you see here, you'd think it would be an extremely close race. Unfortunately, one runner is a long way from where the silver arrows are, and that is AlmightyBobino, who is unable to find them currently. Will not be finding them for a little while still. To answer the question, check, Ganon cannot be in a staircase room. In fact, he cannot be in a room where there are any blocks to speak of. Can be in a room with a river, though. Question is now being asked, why is Bobino in 9? Well, the silvers can be in level 9. They don't necessarily have to be elsewhere. So because there are 2 items in level 9 outstanding currently, it makes sense to go ahead and clear that if you think by chance that they are, in fact, in there today. And what is interesting to me is that AlmightyBobino has, in fact, found a staircase that is north-ish of where Ganon is at. If you can bomb down in here, or kind of work your way around via this key door and down to the left, then there may be a way in from here. I think Kingdahl is just picking up the keys for the lulz at this point. There's definitely no way he's going to burn through all of these keys in level 9. And he has also found that staircase. We know you cannot bomb down, but I believe he will try and bomb both left and down here. And neither is the answer. Neither answer. So we are looking again for another staircase. I believe, however, that Bobino is working his way down to where he can get to Ganon. Yes, Bobino has the route that Kingdahl is looking for. So if Kingdahl follows the same route that Bobino was on, and that would require this staircase and another to get there, then he will eventually find his way to Ganon's location. Alright, let's see. I guess Bobino was just checking this staircase to make sure it wasn't an item, and it still is not. It's going to go ahead and take the route, though. And now this route is quite interesting for Kingdahl. He has found the same path we saw Bobino on. He's going to go south here. He's going to try and bomb down, most likely, because he knows Ganon's not that far away. And he has made it work. He's at 20 keys. All the keys. Level 9 has a book. So it is my belief that we have a book and a heart container in this level 9. Six more hits with the white sword. 5 more. 4, 3, 2, 1. Down goes Ganon. We are now a Zelda get away from finishing this. And there's a shutter door that opens, and there are enemies in that room. We are going to have Kingdahl finishing in first place in this seed. An official time of 1:19:13. Unfortunately, that means it's the end of the road for AlmightyBobino, but it looks like he's going to try and find at least the second item in level 9 here. Let's see if he was close. We'll see if we can't get Kingdahl into the commentator's booth here in the next couple of minutes for a chat about where in the world he's going to use all of the keys that he has. looks like Kingdahl hadn't noticed this prior to just now, but it looks like Kingdahl, in fact, made it through the entirety of the seed without a death. And Bobino's getting trolled a little bit by the community hint there, saying that Saber's a 9 already. I mean, he's a 9 too, so not that far behind, right? And we do unfortunately have a white flag being waved on AlmightyBobino's side, seeing as he was eliminated and knew the silvers were probably not going to be a 9 anymore, given what he had found. Can't quite blame him. So you maybe see both of our runners in the commentary booth here shortly. But once again, give it up for both of them. They raced quite an interesting seed here that kind of trolled them both with different items. And it just so happened that Kingdahl had the solution work out for him a little bit quicker than it did for Bobino. And we do not have all of the channels sorted yet for tomorrow, but we do have, it looks like, a handful of games now on schedule. It'll start off at 8 o'clock with Alan Heffley and Fry Teeth. Game 2. They will have Game 3 right thereafter, probably on the same channel for both of those games. So if you're looking for that one, all you need to do is find the first one. Zeb Getty and OPT Lawyer at 9 p.m. Chess Jerk and Dark Falls at 9:30. And Angel FM and Eat My Steel 1 at 11. It looks like we are joined first by Bobino. GG's, sir. I'm sorry that you got trolled a little bit by the Silvers location, but you put up a strong fight in this one.
Oh, yeah. No worries. I knew it was a gamble. I had 3 spots in dungeons and 2 spots in 9 that it could be left in, and I'm facing someone like Kingdahl. I gotta take a risk. So, unfortunately, the risk didn't pay off.
Yeah, unfortunately, Kingdahl had the keys to the seed, we shall say, given his key count at the end was quite ridiculous.
He was just telling me that.
Yeah, somewhere in the 9 it became a meme. I might as well pick up everyone. And Zelda was also waiting with the keys. She knew.
That's funny.
Yeah, so the big separator here was Kingdahl had only the ladder preventing him from completing the seed, whereas you had only the silvers. And He had to go to level 6 because he could not progress in level 7, and that was his last dungeon where they could be. And you had level 8 as your silvers, as we were talking about just before he got here, and you had already cleared that one and had several other dungeons in your way there, so you had to make the logical gamble at that point to hope that they were in 9, and unfortunately found out that they were in fact not.
Yeah, it happens. That's rando for you. Not too bad. I feel like I played a lot better. I only had trouble fighting in like 2 Wizroll rooms. Other than that, my combat felt a lot better than it did when I started the tournament. So I'm happy with how it went.
So we had some people in chat, namely a runner I commentated last night, asking what Kingdahl was doing after seeing the bow and both bananas in level 1. Your thoughts, Kingdahl?
I was looking for money for the arrow. Maybe.
So no tracker mistakes ever?
Never. Cannot do mistakes. That's my problem.
Mr.
I-
King doesn't make mistakes.
Actually, I didn't track the bow. So I went out and saw, oh, bow. Where did I get the bow? Oh, okay.
It does not look like you died the seed, though. I see the AAA with a 0 on it.
Yeah, no deaths. It's being helped by the red ring a little bit.
It looks like you were fighting all of the rooms and getting all of the keys, but not getting all the deaths, but maybe a wall master.
I did get wall mastered.
I got Wall Master twice.
It was part of the strat, though. I wanted to get back to start, and I didn't want to start with 3 hearts. So
One of mine was intentional too, so I actually believe you.
it was so close to start, though. It was in 8. I also left the Triforce in 8, which I think was pretty good, because when I came back, I had the room below open. That was a mistake. So where the raft was, I didn't get the raft the first time in 8.
Yep, you had not gone down in that room initially, and I thought for a moment that would slow you down just a little bit, especially if level 7 had the goods, but it only had the any key in it, and of course that was something that you were not looking for at all.
Yeah, I was only bothered by that flute/ladder combo block of 8. I didn't even look at the other side. I thought I had cleared it.
I just pulled up my tracker. I only saw 5 rooms of 8, so I definitely don't blame you for not seeing the rest of it. But good luck in the rest of this, Kingdahl. I'll be rooting for you. I'll depending on when your races are, I might even see if I can call some shots on them too.
Yeah, thanks. I'm glad to hear you feel like you're getting better, and so do I. Unfortunately, everyone seems to get better all the time. It's worrying.
Why can't the people we face get worse while we get better? That's not fair.
I don't know. It's always been that way. If I could take my skills now and go back to 4 years ago, I'd have a good shot.
Excellent. Yep. But I have to head out. Thank you so much for the races and being so flexible. Your schedule is a little tougher, so I really appreciate you being flexible with everything. Good luck in this tournament, and thank you so much for the races.
GG.
GG's Bobino. So
And then we got to 9 also. With the Ganon roars, and you can't get there, and there's stairs and stairs and stairs and stairs. I'm actually tracking 9 now because of this.
triple magic staircase to Ganon and Zelda's area.
Yeah, probably. I took all the stairs, and I think I tracked it properly. If it hadn't been that stair number 5, I don't know where I would have gone.
Well, you're going nowhere but up now, sir, and the next one up is Dig Shake. Your thoughts?
Yeah, we have some history from 2 randos. I have a better chance in this one. But he plays so much riskier than me, so I think it's gonna be a good view to see that match, because it's on the opposite ends on the risk meter, I would say.
It's funny you say that because he claims vehemently that he does not take that many risks and he doesn't understand where people say that about him. But literally everybody that races him or is about to race him says, "Oh, he takes every risk."
It's just the feel, I guess. But the ones I've seen has pretty much been that way, and most of the time it goes well for him. So it's a strat, but you won't get 20 keys doing that. I don't think that.
Well, it's definitely going to be a fight from here. It was already a fight in this matchup versus Bobino, but it only gets tougher as we go. So good luck to you in the next round, and see if Team Sweden keeps pushing on with both competitors from Sweden in this.
I hope we can get one player into the next round. Which one it is, I'm not gonna say, but 50% always.
Alright, well, with that, we've already covered some of the matches coming up tomorrow. I don't have a whole lot else for you guys. I have Russian Bishop, who was tracking for me while I was doing all the talking, so it's much appreciated that I didn't have to worry about that at all this seed. Hope to see you all again tomorrow. We do have 5 matches across 2 different networks. We'll be probably either commentating, tracking, restreaming, or trolling in the chat. Definitely will be there watching some of those matches, though. Hope you will be too. For now, I'm Furious K. GG's to Kingdahl, and good night, everybody.